Hello, hello. We are going live with a recent graduate from our program, Molly from the Molly Method, who is an incredible virtual assistant and social media manager. And we're going to be chatting through all things entrepreneurship life, why Molly wants to start this business, some of the incredible clients she's working with, some of the cool things she's getting to do, and just a little bit about the highs, the lows, the rundown of running a successful virtual assistant business and all the work that comes with it. I will get Molly in here now to introduce herself. So let me just see. Hello.
Hello, sorry, at long last.
We are there. That is okay. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. All good.
Do you want to introduce yourself for anyone that is watching on my side? Do you want to give us a little rundown into, you, your business, a little overview?
Of course, absolutely. So I'm Molly. I'm based in Kilkenny. So I'm a virtual assistant. I'm still relatively new to the virtual assistant world. So I finished Neve's course, the academy, in July. So not that long ago now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I signed up in March. So working away now. Left my full-time job, my 9 to 5 corporate job, and now I'm all in with my virtual assistant business. I have 5 full-time clients at the moment.
Oh,
Um,
good.
yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's really nice. 5 clients are all in really different areas, so get to do different services for each one, learn a bit about all of their different industries. Yeah, and I've had Neve supporting me the whole way. So yeah, really enjoying.
What an intro. Amazing that you're working with 5 clients. That is, I mean, considering you started in March and it's what just turned August, like that's incredible. You've been working like a ninja behind the scenes to gather all of that.
Yeah, and even like I say, started in March, but the business itself didn't really kick off until May. So, in March of this year, I was working in Dublin in my 9 to 5 corporate job. I worked for an Irish cosmetics company,
Yes.
and it was my first 9 to 5, like out of college. I'd been there for about a year, and I was kind of feeling the burnout. Like I was struggling a bit with missing out on things with my friends. A lot of them were still
Yeah.
in college. Like just didn't have the flexibility. Like during the week was kind of a write off, and I was so kind of stressed with work. Even my social time, I wasn't really enjoying. Like I come home in the
Yeah.
evening, I'd be tired, wouldn't have the energy to like cook dinner or to do anything. So it was kind of taking over my life, and even the other things that I would usually enjoy, I wasn't enjoying because I was stressed and my brain was fried. So I was looking for something a bit different. I was ready to leave, and my lease as well in Dublin was up, so it was time to kind of decide and to make a change. And I had come across your course, Neve, like in 2023. I had first
Really?
seen it, yeah, like way back, and I had done my research then, so knew what a virtual assistant was.
Yeah.
So when I was looking for that change, I was like, maybe this is the time to try something new and give it a go. So I started the course in March. At the same time, I handed in my notice. So I had a 2 month notice period while I was setting up everything for the business. So working through the portal, and it's all like so nicely broken down into all the steps. So setting up business name, doing all the tax stuff, the registration, branding kit, all of that. So it didn't even really like I didn't start taking on clients or doing free work or anything until May, and now I mean it's the first week of August, and it's in full swing.
Yeah. Because I actually remember that. I remember you were like very busy and very quiet for a couple of months, and that was obviously while you're while
Yeah,
you're in the full-time job, while you're in Dublin, and then you were like, I'm back because you
yeah,
like quit your
all in.
job and like moved home.
Yeah,
So quite a whirlwind then of a summer if that all kind of started to kick off in May and now it's like just the start of August and you've got five clients.
100%. Yeah, and it was kind of from so like I'd set up the Instagram and everything, but it was
Yeah.
still kind of very quiet, and like I hadn't done any work yet. I didn't know the story, and it was when I moved home, all of a sudden people were kind of asking me like, "What's the plan?" or like, "Why are you moving home?" or "What are you doing for work?"
Yeah.
And I was trying to explain like what a virtual assistant was because
Yeah.
myself, I didn't 100% know yet because I just didn't have the experience yet.
Of course.
And I remember reaching out to you at that time. I was like, feel like a bit of an imposter or a fraud, and trying to explain. And you were like, just to, like, it doesn't have to be like complicated. It can just be you're helping small businesses with their admin or their social media.
Yeah.
Like, and that became my like go-to line.
Yeah. That's
Um,
still my like go-to for telling people
yeah,
like what the industry is.
absolutely, yeah. And then it kind of went like a lot of people locally, I suppose, didn't kind of know about it, and then someone saw it and they were reposting it, and I was like, oh gosh, I had the fear then because I was like, it's not even really set up yet, and now there's like people know about it. I can't just
Yeah.
like leave it, like take it or leave it now. Like I kind of have to be all in. But people were so nice and they were sending lovely messages, and everyone was so supportive. But it kind of started up and running before I was kind of ready, which was a good thing in a way because then you're kind of thrown in at the deep end and you just have
Yeah.
to make it work. And then I suppose the free work was probably what kicked it all off. Like that's I know part of the course and what you advise. So I put up the post about offering 2 hours of free virtual assistant work, and then like businesses came out of the woodwork, like all different industries and areas got in
Love
touch.
it.
Yeah, it was crazy and it was so busy, but they were such lovely people. I was so lucky I didn't have any bad experience.
Amazing.
One or two maybe like no shows for discovery
Yeah.
calls.
But
But again, the lovely thing was because we had like the academy, like the group chat on WhatsApp with all the other ladies, like you knew it wasn't just you, like if
yeah,
someone didn't
yeah,
come to a
it
call, like that
happens.
was normal. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Okay, so that, I mean, that's a lot of, for anyone that's joining or listening to the replay. So you can obviously see how there was obviously a lot going on. So you're basically in the business full time from May, is that right?
Yeah.
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 And
May.
in terms of like the free work, did any of the free work people end up as paying clients, or did that just like start you getting experience and start getting the ball rolling?
The free work, yeah, absolutely did lead into clients. Not all of them, of course, but
Yeah.
two or three. And it's funny, the very first discovery call I did for my first free work, that was my first client then, which was really like encouraging, I suppose,
So
to go.
encouraging.
Yeah, 100%. But that was really great, and it was posting it on Facebook about the free work, which I thought was so mad. I was like, who uses Facebook?
Lots of
But
people.
it's
I
yeah,
know.
still very much a thing.
I feel like the Facebook thing is such a simple strategy once you know how to do it, because it's literally just like a numbers game of like, perfecting your post, posting in all the groups, and just waiting for the calls to come in. I get to see it from like the back end. I just see it, the rinse and repeat the whole time, because it's just an infinite amount of Facebook groups in every town, every county, every country, you know, that you could just keep going and going and going, like when you need to do like a push for more clients.
Yeah, 100%. And I haven't even needed to do like a second one. That was the thing. I did that first one, free work, and I'll just kind of
So
word of
that
mouth, I
was
think, as
so
well.
that all came from that, like that first push.
Yeah, yeah.
That is amazing. And if you're comfortable sharing even just like the rough industry, like what kind of industries have you found yourself working in now with clients?
Yeah, it was weird how it worked out. Like, so I did business in law in college, so I kind of
Yeah.
have a business head, but the creative industry is really kind of what I'm passionate about and what I really
Mm,
enjoy. Like, I've done musicals and all that in college, so it's really funny. Without me like targeting, I didn't really target certain industries or areas. I was just kind of like, I'll take anybody.
yeah.
But it has kind of worked out being businesses in those areas. So like,
Yeah.
there's an artist, a music teacher, a dance school, which like I so interested in all of that.
Yeah.
Like even if it's doing admin, like once it's something you're interested in, it makes it so much easier.
Yeah.
Um, and then there's like a pharmacy, which is related to like the cosmetics work I kind of did before, and I've worked in
Also love
pharmacies
that.
before.
Yeah.
And then a PT, which is like so interesting as well, a whole other area. So yeah,
I,
a
I
wide
love
range.
that. So it's quite varied, but they're also all linked to like, personal interests or like things you've done without actually like going seeking those exact industries.
Yeah, it's kind of weird how they just kind of landed the right
It
way.
It is. And I remember you saying in the early days, I think it was your dad shared your reel, and you
Yeah.
were like, not sure how I feel about this. But that's when everything was starting to like kick off, like about like a week later.
100%. Yeah, I was doing something and I picked up my phone and I hadn't looked at it in about 2 hours. And all of a sudden there were like new followers and new like story mentions and like the fear because it
Yeah.
was like new, I was like, what have I done? Like what's happened? And I'd put up my like meet the founder post, I think, and then he had sent it to a couple of people that he knew
Love
that
that.
owned businesses. So then it kind of went like local viral, I suppose. Like some of my teachers from school followed the account,
Yeah.
people, and I got such a fright. But in fairness, it was a good thing and it needed to happen. But
Yeah.
I suppose it's that thing as well. Like you'd be afraid that people would think you had notions or that you were just like a bit of that. But again, at that time, I remember I messaged you, I told you about it, and you were like, "That's okay, don't worry
Yeah.
about other people or what people think. You're just doing it like I'm doing it for me anyway." So you have to just
And
embrace
I
it.
think that's a great lesson for anyone that's might be thinking of starting a business that's listening to this is like, I think we're always quick to, I can never say this word, like catastrophic or catastrophize. Anyway, make things into a catastrophe when we think that like, everyone's going to be saying all these bad things and everyone's going to be like, what's she up to? But you actually got the opposite. You actually got a lot of support from people. And also now, like, as well, you have to think that like the reason that you're doing this is so you can have more of a personal life, that you can have more time to do the things that you enjoy and spend more time with your friends and your passions and your hobbies and interests. And like at the end of the day, who actually cares? Because now you have 5 paying clients, you have a lot more flexibility in your personal life, and it's obviously been worth you putting yourself out there.
100%. Yeah. And again, like once you do it once, it's not so scary. Like the real, like and talking to the
Yeah,
camera and stuff. But like once you've done it once and it's out there, it's kind of like, oh well,
yeah,
we're it's done now. And
it
then you just
is.
gotta keep doing it. Yeah. And people were so nice, like saying congrats on the new business. And I was like, it's not really a business yet.
It
But like,
is.
I
It was.
well, yeah, it is now, but it wasn't at the time. I was out like for the bank holiday, I think in June, and girls from school and stuff had been like coming up to me, and I was like, oh God, like, but I think as well that was probably a little bit of me, like, you know, when you start something new and you're not sure yet if it's going to be a
Yeah.
success, and it's you kind of one foot out the door a little bit.
Hmm.
And I was probably a bit like that. But then when people knew about it, both feet had to be in the water,
Yeah.
which was good.
It is good because then it makes you can't be like, oh, I'm trying this little thing. You're like, yeah, I set up this business, like I'm
Yeah.
winging it, but it's set up and it's going. I also just think that like it really solidifies things. I know, like from my experience, when I got my first paying client and that invoice hit my account, I was like, right, this is a business. This is a legitimate thing I got going on, and it just makes it feel a lot more real when like you see the proof yourself, like that first invoice hitting your bank account.
100%. And like when I had first started, because the first 2 months of setting everything up, I was still working. Like it was
Yeah,
almost like this little side project. Like I'd be on the Lewis in the morning going into work, like doing stuff on my phone, or in the
yeah,
evening doing the calls, like on a Monday. Every second week were so good. But it was kind of like a little hobby almost, like a little side thing. But then when work was gone, that kind of safety net a little bit was gone. Now I was so lucky that I could come home.
yeah.
I wasn't under pressure. I didn't have rent. I was kind of like, this is the perfect time to do it if ever I was going
It
to.
was.
But I'm
Yeah,
still young and I don't have a mortgage or don't have anything like that
yeah.
to give it a go. But yeah, it got real quite fast.
It really did. And I guess what are the future plans for the Molly method? Do you have anything upcoming, or are you just kind of winging it at this stage?
Winging it to an extent.
Yeah,
I'm really lucky that I have like the 5 clients on the go now. There's a couple of other people that have reached out to me and kind of expressed interest. I'm
amazing.
just back from annual leave, so I need to kind of follow up with
Yes,
a couple of leads there.
beautiful.
But I've been so lucky that it hasn't been a thing yet where I've had to kind of be chasing people and kind
Yeah,
of it's been a slow like build. It's been nice, like manageable.
yeah,
If I had one or two more clients, that would probably be the goal. Again, it's nice when I have clients like on the bigger packages, you feel like you can put more in as well and you have more time to focus on them and you can do more of the nitty gritty, like get into detail. So that's kind of where I'm at. But yeah, it's nice to have the flexibility. Like I know I could go back to Dublin now if I wanted. Like I have money coming in every month, like it's starting to become
yes,
like stable. So that is nice. And then who knows in the future, it is something
yeah.
I'd like to maybe grow and would you have more people involved and that kind of thing. So I'm gonna have to wait and see.
So exciting. I think that's like a really big accomplishment. I know that like Dublin was the goal that if you wanted to move back that you could afford to do that and not have to because I remember at one stage you were like, I'm not sure if I'll have to get a job if we move to Dublin
Yeah.
again. And that wasn't that long ago. So now you're on track to be able to move, no job needed.
Yeah, it was the decision of like, do I keep the hours low for this and then I have a
Yeah.
job at the same time, or will I go all in for this? And you were like, go all in. Why
You,
not?
you honestly you had the buffer of time. Like you weren't planning to move back to Dublin until I think you said September, was it?
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
September. October.
I was just like, you know what, you have the time. There's never, sometimes, you know, life aligns and obviously because of decisions you make, but that you like, you created this perfect bubble for yourself where, you know, you're living at home, don't have super high expenses, you have the luxury of time.
Mhm.
I just feel like it would have been like sabotaging to go and get a job when you were like this close to like being able to go all in.
Yes, and I could now, like realistically now, if I did decide in the morning I wanted to go to Dublin, I could, and that's
It's
kind of crazy.
amazing. It's amazing. It's so good. And we've talked a lot about the highs. Fill me in. What have been the hard parts of starting the business or the challenges you faced along the way?
Um, I suppose the start, that kind of stress. More recently, like managing everything kind of when it all started kicking off and going, I was finding it a little bit difficult. I
Yeah.
was so afraid of making like a mistake and setting like a bad precedent for myself. I was like,
Yeah.
should I do a weekly recap for a client? Should it like what if then I decide that I didn't want to do that and I've already started it? But you were so helpful with that and so open. You were like, people, you make mistakes, like it happens. You can't control it all. You won't know until you've tried it and it hasn't
Yeah.
really worked out.
Yeah.
So it was that kind of thing of like managing moving parts all at one time and onboarding new and then also trying to find the time like I had clients and then people were reaching out for discovery calls and that kind of thing as well, so there was that too, and managing time and prioritizing fitting everything in because I mean they're important, just as important as well. So
Yeah. And I think that's a good, I actually made a reel about it yesterday. It's a lesson is that like, I always say the first 90 days of starting a business is messy. It's kind of chaotic. You know, when you've done that push and then all the thing, all the leads start to come in, all the calls start to come in. You have to prepare contracts, figure out invoicing, figure out your onboarding process, make a mistake, fix it for the next one. Even if you like have the system, inevitably this is going to be things that are like slightly small mistakes. I'm a big believer of like you having to make your own mistakes and learn from them, because even if you have the blueprint on how to do things, there's just small things that slip through the cracks, but you won't do it again. And like you'll catch yourself. I think we're as you know, as business owners, you do catch yourself and you do something like, I could have done that better next time. Probably shouldn't have done that. And you're still figuring out like all your systems, getting used to all the client personalities, the expectations they have, and the shift from employee to being in charge. There's a lot of moving pieces there. So I think it's a very normal stage of business to be like just trusting your instinct that you'll figure it out as you get more experience, because there's almost no learning you can do ahead of time to like, to know all of that is about to come at you at once.
Yeah, 100%. And everyone is different. Like it can be very much a case by case
Yeah.
basis. That is the thing. But it's so nicely like laid out. I kind of got caught at the very start where I was doing the free work and then someone was like, "Oh, I'll go for your 10-hour package." And I was like, "Right." I was like, "I know in the portal there's like the contract and there's the welcome email, but like I hadn't done any of that stuff yet." So I was like, "Oh gosh." So I had to sit down and like figure out the contract and figure
Yeah.
out how to like set up all those things. But in a way, it was good. There wasn't too much time to think about it then because you just had to, and then it was done for the next person.
Yes. And
But at the same
that's why
time,
I kind of recommend for you guys with the free work, I recommend it towards like the start of the program, is because it's actually just really good to push you in before you're ready. Because then, you might like be like, oh, I'll get to the contracts like in a month's time. But if you get someone like that who's like, okay, I'm ready to go, you're going to stay
yeah,
up that night. You're going to get up early tomorrow morning before work. You're gonna get it ready. So you're not going to miss out on that money that someone's wanting to pay you. So I think it's a good kick for you
yeah,
when you get that in, and you weren't really ready, but you made sure you got it sorted, and then it made your onboarding process like easier for the next client.
yeah. And it all went fine.
Yeah.
There were no disasters.
And I guess, did you have any reservations about starting? Because obviously I feel like it's something that's relatively new, virtual assistant. There's still some like people talk, there's a lot of different things online that can claim you make money. Were you ever skeptical that like it would actually work for you?
I kind of feel like because I had first come across it in 2023, like a while
Uh,
ago, and I'd looked into it, I knew that it wasn't like a scam. I knew that you were a
yeah.
real person and not like a robot. So that was good
Yes.
because I've been chatting to you.
It
And
always helps.
2 years later, it was still going. So I was like, okay, so obviously there is something here.
Yeah, yeah. Great.
It's still going on. Um, but yeah, so in that way, no. But then when I was starting it up and like setting up all these things and I was on Canva making my branding kit and I was like, this is all well and good, but I don't see really how this is going to turn into like getting
Money.
clients and
Yeah.
money. Yeah, that was the thing. I was like, how is this going to work out? But then it just did.
Yeah.
It just did. And like you were so good with that as well. You were like, if you do these things, like if you do your lead gen, if you do your like it will trans like you just have to have kind of a faith.
Yeah.
And I kind of did just have that like blind faith, not to
Yeah.
think about it too much going into it. Like it just will work itself out, and it did.
It did. I think as well, like you had such so I know you said before this that you've ended up working in a lot of like virtual assistant side of things, so a lot of like administrative roles. But I could tell from your social media, like once you made your first post, that you have that like great streak for like creativity. Like your social media, what you created so far is like perfect. And that's a massive skill in itself. So I feel like you're in a really great position because you have a lot of experience now in the admin, but you also have experience with the social media side of things. So as your business grows, like you can dabble in both.
Yeah, 100%. I really enjoy that kind of side of things,
Yeah,
like the creative side. I love Canva. I had Canva Pro anyway, kind of,
it's
but
fun.
even in college and stuff, like making graphics and that kind of thing. And like Reels, I'm doing a little bit of content creation. One of the clients that I work for
Fun.
is local. So like we've gone in and done some filming and then editing, and I really enjoy that too, as well as like
Yeah.
the admin and the processes and setting all that stuff up for people, which is like the trade executive side, which is like the 9 to 5 job I was doing. So yeah, it's a mix of both, which I really enjoy.
Yeah, it's kind of like a mix of like your personality with the creative side, and then like your more some of your like actual experience and like what you did in college or what you did in a corporate job coming into it. So that's why I think like everyone's set of skills is unique, because even those two are, they're quite different things, but they've kind of joined together into
100%, yeah. And
what
I've
you've
worked in
created.
such like random jobs and areas, and most people probably have if they like actually look back and think.
Yeah. Oh,
And
so
it's
many.
really, yeah, it's really good in the course that thing about like picking out your skill set. Like I'd worked as a trade exec, I've worked as like an activities instructor
Yeah.
in the Discovery Park, which is like customer facing. I was a news reader on radio for a while, so like
Perfect.
speaking and talking, that kind of thing. Like it is just like you don't even think about, or like I did in COVID, for like a family friend, I did some online photo editing and that kind of thing.
But
Like you don't really think of those things until you
yeah,
actually sit down and write them all out. And like, oh, I actually can do some things.
I know. I feel like I always ask people like, at the start, I'm like, hey, what's your background? And they give me such a blasé answer, like, oh, I do some admin work. And then like when we start to dig, it's like, okay, you've had like 5 lives before this admin work of like doing
Yeah.
so many incredible things. I think it also we're like it can be how people define themselves as like what you work as currently and like not like what your hobbies are, what your interests are, like how you are, the best homemaker, how you are like the organized friend in your friend group who plans every single holiday. Like even all those things come into it massively with like how you can plan things ahead of time with strategy or project management. And I feel like there are things people don't even realize are like massive skills that not everyone possesses.
Yeah. And I think people find it so hard to speak about the positive things about themselves as well. It's like toot their own horn a little bit. Like
Yeah.
they don't want to say, I'm actually great at this, or I'm actually,
Yeah.
but you kind of have to get out of that mindset
Yeah.
because you're
Especially
hard.
Irish people, I feel like we have
Yeah.
a tendency to downplay everything. Like,
Yeah. We're like,
like,
I'm not good. I wouldn't be
I'm
able
all
to do
right
it.
in this thing.
You're looking at me.
Oh,
Sliding your degree in the bag, and it's like, ah, yeah, I suppose I could do that.
I suppose it's okay. Yeah, exactly. So that's very common. So I think that's another lesson to anyone that's listening is to audit your life so far and see what you like doing, see what you've done in the past. Because it all adds up. Even I feel like, working in like retail or hospitality, the amount of people skills you get from those industries is so useful when it comes to this and just being willing to like, start conversations with people, do the lead gen, have discovery calls with people and be able to wing it like to the best of your ability. I think even just all of those is like that's just like life skills that you got this far in life that helps so much.
Mhm. Yeah, and like communication and like thinking on your feet and stuff, and
Yeah,
kind of common sense, and a lot of times is very
100%.
useful. Yeah, which you do get from those kind of roles.
Yeah. Okay, if anyone here is live, guys, has any questions, pop them in the comments section. And Molly and I can answer. Otherwise, if you're watching the replay, we can answer in the chat box. But what would you say your advice is to anyone who's thinking of starting, like, and it just has a bit of fear or is scared to start? Because I feel like that is a very normal feeling prior to doing something that's different or new.
Yeah, I would say to kind of do your research, I suppose. Like have a good browse. There's so much information available on your
So
page.
much.
Yeah, and even online, like you can have a look, have a good idea of like what it is, what's involved,
Yeah,
and then obviously look at yourself and if it's the right time. That was the thing for me; it wasn't the right time in 2023,
for sure.
and then it just landed so perfectly this time. And for me, like I knew I wanted to leave my job, let's say, and there's probably a lot of people who are kind of thinking, will they leave a job or they're looking for a change? And I felt like I couldn't leave without some kind of backup plan. And this was
Yeah,
something that was kind of relatively low commitment in fairness. Like you paid your member to sign up like onto the course. But then like you could do as little or as much as you wanted. You had the support of the other ladies, you had you like all the time. Um so like it was so like it was a nice little like kind of your hand was held through it and getting
yeah,
started. And then a lot of people as well, probably another fear thing, or that I kind of saw from the other ladies that would hold you back, is that thing of like putting yourself out there, showing up on stories or whatever. But I can only say that it's been nothing but positive. Um, and again, it's all
amazing.
very relaxed. Like, and you're very much a believer of like it doesn't have to be perfect; it just has to be out there. Like, just post
Fun.
it. And
Yeah,
it's so with social media, I suppose you can get very wrapped up in everything has to be polished, perfect. Like we see so much content all the time, like videographers, that's amazing, but it doesn't have to. It real is better. Like it's better to have like just you and to be authentic and to kind of just show up in any way you can. So I thought that that would be harder than it actually was. So I would
yeah.
say just give it a go.
Love that. It's really, really great advice because that is definitely a genuine fear and a totally understandable fear that a lot of people have
Yeah.
with starting. Someone just asked a question, what do you guys think about AI taking over this type of job? I'll give my 2 cents in it. You can give yours after. My 2 cents in it is AI is never, ever, ever going to replace this industry. The kind of businesses that you guys are building is a high-end support right-hand woman. AI can help you with your business, but it will never replace the jobs because of the high level of support. Like I have a team, like say in my business working with me. There is no way in hell AI can do what people can do. It helps their roles to make it easier and makes them more efficient with their time. But like I can't say to my computer, all right, Molly's emailed me and she wants to change her payment plan. She wants to, change it to this much, and then we want to pause it for a month. Can you do that? Like, it can't go into systems and do these kind of things. There's That's just obviously just one example of like you being in front of me. I also can say, do you know what, I actually want to film an IG live today with Molly, and then can you post about it on all my social media channels? Like, it can't replace this conversation. Yes, it can aid, like after this, like one of my team members will download the video, they'll put it into an AI tool, they'll clip it, write a caption to use it like short forms of this on our social media platforms. There's still manual need in there as well. It's not all automated. It's still very, very, very far away from being automated. So that's my 2 cents on AI not taking over. It makes your life easier, if anything. What's your 2 cents, Molly?
Yeah, I was going to say, I suppose, like, almost the biggest benefit of having a virtual assistant, I would say, is the personal touch. Um,
100%.
yeah, and then like with AI, obviously, it can help with certain things. Like ChatGPT is great if you need ideas or to kind of generate things, and like
Yeah.
to streamline certain processes. But even like I had a client, I was doing some social media for her. She's a music teacher, and then she was like, "Oh, she wanted to get the word out to schools." And we were like, "Oh, we could ring schools." So like I was calling up offices and kind of like, "Hi, I'm Molly," like, and it's that personal thing. It's that real, authentic warmth. And that's
Yes.
kind of what people want, especially when you're working with smaller and more local businesses. Like it's not
Yeah.
a, yeah. So that's what I would say on that one.
And like your pharmacy client, like AI can't go to the pharmacy,
No.
script out ideas, film the content, come home, edit the content, and approve it with them. Like, it can
Yeah.
aid you, but it can't replace you. So I wouldn't worry about AI. Honestly, I feel like it's a fear mongering tactic for people to keep people stuck from not trying something. There's so much opportunity in the market, so I wouldn't worry about AI. It's a benefit, if anything. It will make your life easier. Okay, any other questions, guys, before we head off? Molly, thank you so much for coming on. What a fantastic chat, and just what a story. I hope you're so fucking proud of yourself of what you've done in like a couple of months. It's insane. And a credit to all your hard work and putting yourself out there and going with, the scary parts along the way. Is You've achieved what you wanted to achieve with the opportunity to move to Dublin, should you wish to. So excited for you. Of
Thank you so much, and thank you for everything and all your support. 'Cause
course.
I really couldn't have done it without you and without everybody else on the course at the same time.
Of course. You're very welcome. Okay, thank you so much, Molly. I will chat to you very soon.
Perfect. Chat to you later.
Bye
Thanks.
bye.